Welcome to Verbal Prick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Like to welcome you all to the show. Look, I want to, just for a brief moment, give you guys some questions, right? But the questions are not coming from me. They're coming from Abdul Muhammad, who gave the lecture at Mosque Mariam in Chicago this past Sunday. And I thought the questions that he raised, and within the context that he raised those questions, was right on time. Now, before I let you all hear these specific questions, I want to try to give an analogy, right? To kind of shape this subject matter, right? Okay, so we're going to start off, and I'm going to use deers. They're like Bambi, the deer. Okay, so you got 4 deers. You got a black deer, red deer, brown deer, and a yellow deer, right? But they all were running in their own packs. The black deer was over here, the red deer was over there, yellow deer is over there in their area, brown deer is over there in their area, right? Colonizer comes through with shotgun, right? He sees the black deer, right? Blam! Shoots a black deer, right? And the brown deer, the red deer, and the yellow deer sees this act, right? And they say, whoa, man, damn. Woo, damn. That colonizer sure hate them black deers. Woo, but glad it's not us. They went back on, carrying on with their way, no problem. Months later, colonizer hunter comes through the forest again. Blam! Shoots again, but this time he shoots a brown deer, right? Now, the red and the yellow deer is like, woo, man, see? Damn, the colonizer sure hate them black and brown deers, wow. So they go on about their way, doing their everyday activity, think nothing of it, because, hey, the black deer, brown deer shot, so what? Not right. Even though the black deer's family still grieving, brown deer's family is grieving as well, but the red deer, they not grieving at the time. They going about their life and whatnot. So, hey, it is what it is. 2 or 3 months later, the colonizer hunter comes through giving a shotgun, pops a red deer, bloop, dropping, right? And the yellow deer is like, wow. It's something about those black, brown, and red deers that the colonizer hunter just can't stand. Maybe it's the way they run or whatever. Look, maybe it's the way that they walk with their head or something, or something in their antlers or something. I don't know what it is, but it's something about them that the colonizer hunter just can't stand, right? So a year passed, right? Yellow deer, they out doing their thing, building, gathering up grass for the community, enjoying it. Colonizer hunter comes through, got the yellow deer in his sight, ready to blast, but yellow deer say, hey, hold on, wait a minute. You shot the black deer, you shot the brown deer, you shot the red deer. You should be satisfied. I don't have nothing to do with it. Here, we over here doing our thing, we not even involved in it. You're not going to shoot me as well, huh? And the colonizer hunter said, I don't see any difference between you all, because you all don't look like me. So naturally, I'm my nature. I have to hunt you. I don't even know why I'm hunting and killing you, but I can't stop myself. I just kill deer. It doesn't matter as long as you don't look like me, right? So bam, the colonizer hunter, bloop, shots the yellow deer, dropping, bam, right? And it's like, wow, all of them didn't think that, hey, wait a minute, we are minorities, we are deers, you know? Why didn't we unite and make sure we was okay, since we have the numbers? But we so disunified till, hey, you know, the yellow deer don't like the black deer, and the brown deer don't like the red deer, and the red deer don't like the black deer. And, you know, but one thing that they all have in common is that the colonizer hunter don't like none of them. Oh, man, and that's wild. So these questions that I told you at the beginning of the program are very important questions, and we're going to let Brother Abdul take it from this point. You know, because it has to be discussed. This thing has to be said, right? Because we're actually living in these times. So I want y'all to check it out.
Just so we can start to think about this most important subject. The question is, who are the dead that are going to rise? How are these dead people, how are they going to be raised to life? What is the duty of the Nation of Islam in the rise of our people? Why was our brother DMX, who just passed away recently, why was he so powerful and so influential? And are Jewish people's feelings more important than black people's lives? I just want you to think about it. What is brewing in the hearts of white people as black people rise all over the country and oppressed people rise all over the world? You have to ask the question, what is brewing in the hearts of white people? Since George Floyd was murdered, 181 black people have been shot by the police since he was murdered. So I'm going to ask you again, what is brewing in the hearts of white people? What was January 6th, the Capitol riots, what was that a sign of? I'm just going to answer that right now. That was a sign of the fall of America, just so you know. Why is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan so controversial? What is the meaning of Ramadan? Why are Jewish people so angry with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? And do black people have the right to self-determination? How does Allah use pain to shape you into what he wants you to be? And how is Allah moving our people in our direction? When I say our direction, I'm talking about the Nation of Islam. How is Allah moving the people in the direction of the Nation of Islam? And my last question that I'm going to, in this series of questions, is, should we trust white people? Right. We already know the answer to that. When they came to West Africa to put us in chains, could we trust them then? When they gave us guns when we were in Africa, they gave guns to the small tribes so that the small tribes that were at war with the larger tribes would have an advantage. And then when the small tribe, with the use of guns that they got from the Europeans, would conquer the larger tribe, the European would then take the larger tribe of black people into slavery. And you know the white man is never going to sell you enough guns where you can beat him. So then he would take the small tribe in slavery as well. So can we trust white people? When we were on the slave ships and they raped the men, the women, the boys, and the girls, could we trust them then? Could we trust them when they gave the Native Americans blankets with smallpox in the blankets? Could they be trusted then? Could they be trusted during the 310 years of chattel slavery? Any day of the week, any week of the month, any month of the year, could we trust them then? Could we trust them after slavery and we had entered into sharecropping And when we went to settle up with the landowner, right, could we trust them then? Could we question them when they dealt with us unfairly when we were sharecroppers? What about during Jim Crow? I have a book here that it's called Remembering Jim Crow. And in this book, they went around and interviewed black people that were still alive, that lived during the time of Jim Crow. My question to you is, could we trust them during Jim Crow? I have another book here called The New Jim Crow. We couldn't trust them during the old Jim Crow. And guess what? We can't trust them during the what? The new Jim Crow. Could we trust them to properly educate our children? Right here in Chicago, when they did not want black children going to school with white children and the black schools were overcrowded, the head of the Department of Education, his last name was Willis. So they put Willis wagons all throughout the black community and stuffed the black people in these Willis wagons because they did not want black children in the school with white children. Can we trust them? You sent your children to college, right? You sent your children to school with Becky and Seth. And when they came back home thinking and believing things that you never taught them. The school confused them, hoodwinked them, bamboozled them. Could we trust them with our children? When they built the projects all over the United States, because the white people did not want black people moving in their neighborhoods. So rather than allow the black people to spread out, they just stacked us on top of each other. In the projects right here in Chicago, the Robert Taylor Homes was the biggest housing project in the United States. 20 blocks from 35th to 55th. Could we trust them when they lured us in with a free refrigerator and a free stove and a free first month's rent? Then to come to find out, they painted the projects with lead paint. Could we trust them then? Could we trust them when they put us in the projects and put the projects next to toxic waste sites? Could we trust them then? I know some of y'all getting mad because you want to trust them today. Could we trust them when they offered us welfare? But the condition for you to get help from the government was that there could be no man in the home. So in order to get the welfare, the black man had to leave the home, right? Could we trust them then? We couldn't trust them then. Could we trust them when we went to jail on trumped up charges on unjust laws that they passed? And then when we went to prison, they did medical experiments on us in prison. Could we trust them then? Could we trust them when they sterilized black women all over America without their knowledge and against their will? You heard of Fannie Lou Hamer, the great civil rights leader. Fannie Lou Hamer was sterilized in what they call a Mississippi appendectomy. You go to the doctor for one thing, and while you're there, the white racist doctor cuts out your fallopian tubes without telling you. This happened to black women all over America. Could we trust them then? Could we trust them when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans and black people were locked in the Superdome and George Bush was in the White House twiddling his thumbs, doing nothing, and letting black people die and suffer, and the police in New Orleans murdered black people wholesale? Could we trust them then? Could we trust them to give us water in Flint, Michigan? Flint, Michigan still doesn't have clean water. Could we trust them in Flint? Could we trust them when black people started to rise during the civil rights movement and the Black Panthers right here in Chicago under Chairman Fred Hampton started the free breakfast program that was copied by the public food system? And when J. Edgar Hoover wanted to try to destroy the Black Panthers, one of his, and I have the book here, I had it, it's in the car. Nobody's perfect. It's the book on COINTELPRO, the COINTELPRO papers. But J. Edgar Hoover had a plan that since the Panthers were giving away free food to children, that what the FBI would do is poison the oranges, because they found out that they purchased the oranges from a farm in Florida. So they were going to poison the oranges, send them to Chicago for black children to eat. Then when the black children got sick, they were going to use their friends in the media to discredit the Black Panthers. And when you read the FBI files, J. Edgar Hoover said the only reason, not that he cared about black children, he said the only reason that they couldn't do it is because there was no guarantee that the oranges that they poisoned would be the oranges shipped to the Black Panthers. Well, it's 2021 today. You can put a label on something and track it all over the world. So if we could never trust white people since we've been here, what makes you think you can trust them right now? What makes you think that you could go to the doctor and you could trust that doctor to give you a shot and you not have a second thought about what that doctor is doing to you? And this is, I'm saying this, but the regular black folks don't trust white people. When we go in the street here in Chicago and we go out with the flyer about the vaccine, the black people that we talk to in the street, they're not taking the vaccine. They say, and I can't say the word in Mas Mariam because y'all will get mad. The constant refrain in the street when you talk to regular black people is, I ain't taking that. That's all they say. We're trying to give them, they don't even need the information. We're trying to, I don't need that. I ain't taking that ish. That's what they tell you. So the proof that we're providing, it just coincides what they already believe. So I'm going to say this, and this is not my topic. When the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan spoke on July 4th, the criterion, his words were already in harmony with what black people felt anyway. So when he spoke those words that came from God, it was already in the hearts and minds. I'm not talking about the middle class black people who want to show white people that they love them. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the regular, everyday black people. They already were not taking the vaccine. But when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan spoke those words, our Jewish friends, what did they do? They went and tried to get him canceled, if you remember, from Fox Soul, right? And then when Fox Soul canceled the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, they were celebrating because they thought they had a victory. But the Holy Quran says Allah, that the Jews plan and Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planners. So they built up all of this controversy and thought they had a victory. And then Diddy came through and put it on Revolt TV. And even though millions were gonna watch it, because they opposed it and created all this controversy around it, millions more watched the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Are y'all with me? All praise is due to Allah. So brothers and sisters, I'm gonna say some things real quick that I'm not really gonna explain. I just think they need to be said, okay? It's not the lecture, it just needs to be said. The fall of America is in our face right now. When we watched January 6th, that was a sign, a big sign, that is done for the United States of America. When their own people rise up against the government, it's a wrap. What did the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say when Donald Trump was running for president? He said that if Satan cast out Satan, how can his house then stand? He did that lecture right here. And Donald Trump is the Satan cast out Satan president. Every Satan that came to work for him, what did he do? He cast him out. He ran against 17 Satans and beat the brakes off every last one, right? Then he ran against Hillary Clinton, another Satan, and beat her, right? Then as the other people opposed him, he beat them all. He's the Satan cast out Satan president. And then on January 6th, he spoke to his people and they rose up and attacked the government. America is going to fall, not from any foreign power, but under the weight of her own corruption and evil, and this country will degenerate into civil war. I'm just telling you, this is not today's lecture. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said it'll be black against white. white against black, black against black, and white against white, and that the blood would be up to the horse's brow. That is what's coming to the United States of America. So now, if we know this in the Nation of Islam, it's our duty to warn our people. The only reason Allah called us to Islam is so that we could change our lives, so that we could become the opposite of what the world made us. And in us becoming the opposite of what the world made us, then we become attractive to our people, so that our people come and change their lives and become the opposite of what the world made them. If you think that you're here just to pray and fast, and you have to do those things, but you don't have a duty to go after our people, then you're in the wrong place. The whole mission of the Nation of Islam is the salvation of our people. I know what you're saying, but he got tattoos on his face. His pants is sagging down by his knees. He has a blunt in his mouth. But deeper than the tattoo, deeper than the sagging pants, and deeper than the blunt, inside of that black man is God himself. Inside, I don't care if she got 10 babies by 10 baby daddies and didn't know if this one was the daddy or that one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It might matter to you because you may think that you're holier than thou, but it doesn't matter to God, because in her is God himself. And our work is to bring out what God put in each and every one of us. So now, when I was on, now I'm gonna say this, if you've ever lost, and all of you have, you lost the remote control in your house. The remote was lost. The TV is 3 feet away from you. And when something is lost, it creates a certain level of anxiety. Now you're in the house with a TV that's 3 feet away, and you're looking for the remote, and the more you look and can't find it, the more you get agitated, right? I'm talking to black people, I'm telling the truth. So then you solicit your family members, your children, your wife, your husband, the dog, the cat. You want everybody to stop everything and do what? Find the remote, and the TV is 3 feet away. So now, if you want to get everybody involved for a remote control with a TV that's 3 feet in front of you, then how is God looking at you when our people are lost? And you won't go after the people who are lost that God came to save. You understand? The same anger that you feel towards your family that you've been living with your whole life, when your daughter is in her room on the computer but ain't helping you find the remote, and you bust, what the hell are you doing? I need that remote. Damn, mama, I'm your daughter. You talking to me like that for a remote? How is God looking at us when we won't go after a people that's lost, that he came to save? I just want you to think about it. Don't let it be your...
See, I just wanted to play that because Brother Abdul asked some serious questions, right? Powerful questions. And what can white people do to gain the trust of black people after the horrific treatment and the systemic racism and things that still are present in today's time, including police brutality? Right? And how long will black people continue to wait for that trust of white people? These are some very serious questions that has to be asked. Now, for those of you, black and white, who have answers to these questions, we like to hear it right here on Verbal Pick Radio. In the comment section, submit your answers, and we'll read them on the air. Very important, and a lot of insight in what the brother was stating, and particularly the direction that the country is headed into if we don't correct the current actions of the citizens of America. Now, why do I say this, and how do I know what the brother is stating is true? Because if you look at all the things that made Rome fall, same things today. Let's go back and do your research. We're doing the exact same things, right, as Rome did prior to its fall. Man, so it's decision-making time. We're on the cusp of a great decision that has to be made. And, and when you make the decision that's going to benefit you and your family, right, and black people as a whole, you have to sit down, meditate, be in your right mind, and come up with a proper answer and a proper solution, right, from the heart forward. Verbal Pick Radio, thank you all for listening. We're out. Until next time.